Intelligent people sometimes disappear quietly because growing self-awareness changes what they can tolerate in relationships. This video explores why intelligent people withdraw and why that distance does not always mean arrogance or rejection. Thank you for being here, and subscribe to Thalvyn Psychology for insights into human behavior. A Chicago professional answered messages, attended every dinner, and always picked up when friends called. Months later, she replied less often, declined plans, and stopped sharing details of her life. Withdrawal rarely begins with one dramatic argument. It often develops through experiences of feeling misunderstood, constantly adjusting yourself, or giving more than you receive. Still, withdrawal does not prove intelligence. It may also reflect stress, burnout, anxiety, depression, shame, or overwhelming responsibilities. Before calling it protecting my peace, ask whether silence helps healthy recovery or encourages avoiding meaningful connection. When withdrawal grows from awareness, people often begin noticing patterns they previously overlooked. A man in Seattle begins noticing that one close friend always says, "I support you," yet rarely appears during important moments. The same friend reaches out mainly when advice, reassurance, or practical help is needed. As experience and self-awareness grow, people often recognize repeated patterns more quickly over time and across different situations. One isolated action may mean very little, but a consistent sequence can reveal how much care, reliability, and mutual effort truly exist in a relationship. Still, one strange expression or one canceled plan is not enough to prove that someone is fake, jealous, or exploitative. Pattern recognition can be useful, but the brain can also connect details before enough evidence exists. A better approach is to examine three things: frequency, context, and whether the relationship improves after the issue is discussed. When imbalance repeats without repair, people begin noticing a deeper truth. Receiving attention is not the same as experiencing genuine connection. A man in New York has dozens of conversations each week, yet most revolve around gossip, work, or someone else's needs. Many people know his name, but very few make him feel genuinely understood. Attention can create a brief sense of being seen, while real connection requires mutual curiosity, emotional safety, careful listening, and consistency over time. Still, not every light conversation is empty or meaningless. Small talk can become the first step toward trust, and different relationships can offer different levels of depth. The problem begins when someone receives constant attention but rarely experiences honesty, reciprocity, or emotional presence. Instead of asking, "How many people care about me?" a better question is, "Who allows me to be honest without performing?" When depth becomes more valuable than social quantity, places that once felt exciting can suddenly feel tiring, crowded, and emotionally unsatisfying and strangely lonely. At a crowded event in Los Angeles, one person does more than follow the conversation. They notice changes in tone, quiet competition, who is being ignored, and who is managing other people's impressions. Some individuals process many social signals simultaneously. Their brains track language, emotion, context, facial reactions, and shifting group dynamics, which can make busy social settings exhausting. However, social exhaustion does not automatically indicate high intelligence. It may also reflect introversion, sensory sensitivity, social anxiety, or hypervigilance developed in an unstable environment. The healthiest response is not always complete withdrawal. A person can reduce the intensity by choosing smaller groups, setting an ending time, and allowing space to recover afterward. These adjustments protect energy without removing every opportunity for connection. But overstimulation is not the only reason people become distant. A deeper shift begins when they realize that other people's reactions are often shaped by experiences that have little to do with them. During a meeting in Austin, a colleague repeatedly interrupts the speaker and challenges each point. In the past, the speaker would spend the entire evening wondering what they had done wrong. People often react through their own emotional history, fears, and unmet needs. From a depth psychology perspective, outward behavior can sometimes reflect inner conflicts that the person may not fully recognize. Still, it is risky to assume that every critic is jealous or every interrupter feels insecure. Those are possibilities, not verified facts. A better response is to observe the behavior, ask direct questions, and decide on boundaries according to the actual impact. This approach reduces unnecessary self-blame without pretending to know another person's hidden motives. When people stop treating every disagreement as a personal attack, they become more selective about what deserves a response. That is when emotional energy begins moving away from constant defense and toward choices that protect clarity, dignity, and peace. A friend sends a provocative message at midnight, inviting an immediate argument. Instead of defending themselves while tired and emotionally activated, the person puts the phone down, sleeps, and replies briefly the next morning. Emotional intelligence does not mean understanding everyone or remaining perfectly calm at all times. It means recognizing emotions, regulating reactions, and refusing to let a temporary state control a lasting decision. Still, silence can be either a healthy boundary or a form of silent treatment. The difference lies in intention. Is the pause meant to regain balance or to punish someone through uncertainty? When it is safe, a clear sentence can prevent confusion. I need time to think, and I'll respond tomorrow. This protects both emotional space and respect. When people stop spending energy on every conflict, silence begins to feel less like avoidance and more like a deliberate, grounded choice. After a demanding week in Boston, one person spends Sunday morning walking alone, reading and thinking without adjusting to anyone else's expectations. They are not necessarily in love with loneliness. They may be in love with the clarity that quiet creates. Healthy solitude can make room for self-reflection, emotional regulation, and a more honest review of priorities. In silence, people can separate what they truly want from the roles they have been trying to maintain for others. Still, being alone is not always healing. If solitude increases fear, bitterness, avoidance, or distrust, it may have shifted into social withdrawal. A useful question is not simply, do I enjoy being alone? Ask instead, after this time alone, do I feel restored, clearer, and more willing to reconnect? Healthy solitude returns energy to life. When quiet helps people hear their own thoughts clearly, the need for constant approval often begins to weaken. An employee once posted every achievement and waited for friends to react. Over time, they begin keeping some victories private and discovering that success still matters even when no one applauds. Internal validation grows when people judge their choices by values, effort, and consistency instead of relying on outside approval. Still, needing less recognition does not mean needing no one. Human beings still need connection, feedback, and a sense of belonging. The goal is not emotional isolation. It is learning to separate self-worth from constant response. Instead of asking, how can I fit in, ask, does this choice reflect who I want to be? That question creates a steadier standard for decisions. When it becomes more important than applause, people rarely cut everyone off in a single moment. They step away gradually, one realization at a time, from relationships that no longer match their values. One day, a person stops arguing with someone who has decided not to listen. A few weeks later, they stop chasing a friendship that only survives when they are useful. Eventually, they invest time in relationships where care, effort, and attention move in both directions. Social changes often grow through accumulation rather than one dramatic event. From the outside, the distance may look sudden, but inside, the person may have spent months observing, feeling disappointed, attempting repair, and reconsidering what the relationship costs. Still, disappearing without explanation can hurt others and deny them the chance to understand what happened. Not every silent exit is mature. When it is safe and appropriate, offer a short boundary before leaving. A speech is unnecessary, but clear communication can help both people close the relationship with honesty. The real question is not how many relationships someone leaves, but where that withdrawal is leading them. A person studies a shrinking contact list and wonders whether they are building a healthier life or leaving before anyone can disappoint them. Some people step away because they developed healthy boundaries. Others withdraw because of rejection sensitivity, hyper-independence, or believing that dependence is dangerous. The feeling that I see through everyone can be a protective story rather than self-awareness. Intelligence does not remove bias, fear, or misunderstanding. Before disappearing, ask 3 questions. Do I have evidence of a repeated pattern? Have I communicated my boundary when it was safe? Is this distance helping me live by my values or helping me avoid vulnerability? Leaving relationships can reflect self-respect. Real healing does not make someone hate everyone. It helps them recognize unsafe people, trust safe people, enjoy solitude without bitterness, and remain open to connection. Thank you for watching Thalvyn Psychology. Subscribe to Thalvyn Psychology for insights into human behavior.
Thank you for watching and supporting Thalvyn Psychology. Please subscribe, and let's keep exploring the psychology deep within us together.